So, I don't know if we pick our own life challenges or not. But when I look back on and make the meaning for my life, I had a really optimal situation for becoming somebody who was really interested in the truth, both in myself and others and in the world. And so I'm in this I'm in this situation, this abuse situation with my dad, who is an unintentional abuser. Truly actually trying his best. If he hurt us, he would come and apologize and try to make it better. Other kids had experiences where their pain and whatever was erased. It was like, no, that didn't happen. You didn't do this. I had a parent that was, okay, yes, I've done this thing, but I'm not going to, gaslight you about it. I'm going to be honest that I hit you or that I hurt you. And then I'm going to try and apologize for it. That's going on. And, I'm grown up through that whole process. And I become a really good liar. Super good. So good. The secret to being a good liar is that you build an alternate reality in your brain that is truly its own separate existence. You can access it. And so, it's almost like switching a paradigm. I'm switching to this other reality. You believe it. You believe it enough to make somebody else believe it. It was such a great but maladaptive coping mechanism. If my dad didn't know, what was important to me. If my dad didn't know where I was. My dad didn't know who my friends were. My dad didn't know anything. His opportunities to harm me substantially were a lot less. He was mostly limited to stuff in the house or physically. He couldn't really get at the stuff that really mattered to me. But I think I want to say I was around 12 or 13, and I realized ooh, because I want to be clear, I wasn't this way with everybody. It was just very specifically with my dad. And then I did that thing of I would lie to people at school about dumb stuff because I wanted to feel special. Looking back on it, I'm like, oh, sweet baby. Some of the stuff I would come up with, oh, the one that still gets me. I told my entire 7th grade gifted civics class that my dad was such a good juror that he kept getting requested by judges. I mean, I wanted to feel special, and I also wanted to feel connected to him, and it was just I think the teacher kind of she started, and then she just she saw I wasn't gonna drop it. No, this is true, and so she let that go. I'm really sorry. I was not mentally kind to her. I wasn't outright mean to her, but I did not respect her. I had absorbed a lot of my dad's prejudices against women, and I just thought she was without substance, not intelligent, because of course that's the most important thing. No, we know better now. Being intelligent is valuing that as the most important thing is just as superficial as valuing maybe looks, right? It doesn't mean anything. So if you value that, it's literally shallow and superficial, but a lot of, no offense, dudes seem to be very into that because they have a very specific definition of what intelligence means, and they like feeling special, and they push that definition outward. And so anyway, as a kid, I absorbed that definition. And I rejected a lot of femininity because I was like, women aren't smart, especially feminine women. And I didn't respect them. So, she was not somebody I would have really listened to anyway. And I really regret that. And I wish I could kind of go back and tell her, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I was like this. And again, I wasn't outwardly mean to her, but, I'm sure she, adults know. You're a teacher, someone doesn't respect you. Anyway, so I was lying, had become second nature to me. I had this moment, Like I'm 12 and 13 something. And I go, oh man, I don't think I like myself as a person. I gotta not do this. I gotta stop lying all the time. And I feel like it took me a couple of years to get out of that habit of telling lies all of the time. It got easier though, because the older I got, I had a lot more independence with my dad. Especially after I came back from the whole foster care, living with my mom debacle. Like after that, he pretty much just like left me alone. So then it was like I was, I felt safe enough to like, tell the truth. But, it was just this recognition of like, I don't need to be this way. So now, I'm 3 decades into the future. I'm almost 40 now. And so I look back and I go, wow, I had a really unique template for honesty and truthfulness. And, and I'm really grateful for that. The other thing I learned, no one tells you this, but if you're a liar, that's a lot of work. That's extra work to do. That's more shit you gotta remember. That's a lot of like effort. That's, if you're just like honest and upfront. Honestly, when you're honest and upfront with people, for the most part, they're like, oh, okay. I've noticed like the people that get real into image management, they're doing a lot of work. They're working so hard to maintain this identity that they want other people to associate with them. And it is exhausting. Not only is it exhausting, but then you're not having authentic connections with people. So then you're like not fulfilled in life. Like it's a lose, lose, lose. But if you're just honest, if you can just accept like this is what's happening, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, and you be honest with me. Everybody's honest. It's like the biggest weight off your chest. You can move through life with so much less nonsense. I find that people do really respond well to honesty or truthfulness, are willing to give the benefit of the doubt often. And often, like, random people don't necessarily care. We get so bent out of shape. Like, what do these random people think? I feel like the first, like, truly liberating moment I had about that was I was on a cruise with my ex-husband. It was a goth cruise because he was real into that. I'm not gonna lie though, the dancing in that scene is lit. Like I loved it. So anyway, we're on this cruise and I'm, holding some real strong body shame. And then I looked around and I had this moment of like, I'm not gonna say none of these people again. They don't know me. We're not connected. And I just felt this like utter sense of freedom. Like I'm just gonna be here, overweight, in my bathing suit. It doesn't matter. My husband, he thinks I'm sexy as heck. He's about this. He's about my jelly. So it was like, man, it was probably the first vacation I'd ever had of like I feel free from shame about my body. Woo, that was awesome. It's kind of like the more you shed those layers, the more exhausting you realize they are. I'm like, oh man, I'm tired. I'm tired of all of this. And I don't want it anymore. Anyway, so I hope you all are having a great day and finding, the courage to be honest, like with yourself and maybe others. And, sometimes people are like, oh, you should do this because it's the right thing. I mean, yes, but you should do this because it is so less exhausting to live that life. Where you're just upfront and you're honest about stuff. I mean, in a way that protects who you are. But, and I will say a lot of that has to do with if you feel safe. So, again, as I've mentioned before in other videos, this is all a process. So if you are not safe right now, your challenge is not honesty, except to yourself. So if you can't be honest with somebody else, at least be honest to you. And, get moving in that direction as you can. Like I said, it took me 3 years to do it with this most recent relationship. So I get it. It's hard, right? So the first challenge there is to get out and get safe, and then to validate and integrate the experience that you had, because a lot of abuse is getting dissociated from reality, because most abusers, unlike my dad, don't like to think of what they've done. And so they they'll gaslight like their kids, or they'll gaslight their partner. And so part of that process after we get out is to like start to reintegrate, okay, what's reality? What happened to me? What's real? And turn that lens on our experience. And then, you know, as we move forward in the healing process, you know, you get to a point where you feel safe, and then you can start being honest. So, you know, again, like if it's not a thing you can do right now in this moment, you know, just know that it's there in the future, and that you can do it for yourself, and that it's okay. I will say this is a lot of where self-compassion comes in. I know a lot of people focus on self-worth, self-acceptance, all of that. Sometimes you can't access that. Sometimes you're just not there. Sometimes, you know, if we've been through so much trauma, or we have so much shame, or we're just not there. And so we self-compassion instead. You know, where we recognize I'm a human being. Maybe I have these feelings about myself, and I don't like me, and I feel like I fucked up, but other people too. And I don't think that they're terrible people, and therefore I must not be a terrible person. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay. And then moving into that like learning growth mindset, you know, that, you know, changing your inner paradigm of like what it means to be a good you. So it was important for me, in terms of like my identity building, was what does it mean for me to be a good me? And part of that is building in that piece of like, okay, I learn, I grow. You know, I'm doing my best. And if I hurt somebody, I try to make amends. You know, thanks, Dad. I didn't love going through it, but coming from a lesson standpoint, man, my life has really been a boot camp in that direction. And I feel like things are good. We're paused. I'm in a good place. Like we can hang out here for a hot minute, you know, if anybody's listened to me. like I'm enjoying myself. So I would just, you know, I'd like to enjoy some like actual straightforward blessings and not ones I gotta dig for. Anyway, have a great day, and talk to you next time.